I know about that whole make free games free again issue. I know Jacksepticeye got into it. Gary provided me that. Even PewDiePie mentioned something about it. They're pretty much all wanting everybody to vote for, the petition to do it, to make games free again. Or to stop, I guess just to say it's technically to continue making games. I think it's an issue when it comes to game development. I honestly think, so here's the thing. Here's the way I see it. If I were to make a multiplayer game and that's hosted on a server, and let's say maybe years pass by, and someone wants to continue using it, but it's not making me any profit, nobody's really buying it, because, everybody wants to play the new sequel or the new version of it, I would just let people use it. The only thing they can't use the certain IPs that I have access to, certain 3D models, certain characters, you couldn't use those, but there should be like a version that people want to play with, and then they can make their own characters for their own IPs. I don't see why that could be a big issue. I know when Half-Life and Team Fortress came out, where a lot of people were just using the servers from there. Obviously nowadays, nobody really cares about Half-Life, the original Half-Life, right? And Unreal Tournament, you can pretty much use those kind of characters, and then they'll be fine, because they really don't have any IP, I guess, protections. But I don't see an issue like with people hosting their own server. What's stopping them? Honestly, nobody's stopping them right now. Currently, they could do that to any game. You can just go ahead and then download your version, like, of that multiplayer game, and then make it like an offline version just for you and your friends. Legally, you're not allowed. But if you have an offline version, you want to just do a landline with your friends, say, "Hey, man, join this private server that I created." How are they gonna stop you? How are they gonna know, right? Technically, both modding and fan art are illegal, correct? But what's stopping you from like copying it and making your own version of it, right? Say you got like the code and you got like a way of downloading it, you can keep it offline and just keep it to your own self. I know it's illegal. Obviously, if you try to sell it, that's where the issue is. And I think that's where the fear comes in, where bigger AAA industries. I think there's that fear that someone's gonna take their product and they're gonna try to resell it. And I can understand that part. That part is, yes, for sure, it's illegal. You can get into some big trouble if you do that. But either way, it's no different from like someone making a fan-based Pokemon game, right? What's stopping people from making, games like Pokemon and Unity or Godot, right? We have the tools for it. We can do it. Obviously, you can get in trouble for it, and Nintendo will automatically have you taken down. So I don't think that they should kind of like gatekeep things in that sense. They should probably just say, you know what, here's the tools to use it. If you want to put it out there, fine. We don't want to like host anything. Obviously, we're not gonna pay for their server host, but here's the product you can use. But if you try to resell it, then yes, that could be an issue. So you can totally do it yourself, but reaving a multiplayer game to play alone to another level of cope, even pirate software would struggle to hit. Yeah, I can see that. I can see kind of like just, but if you're just enjoying it with your friends, who cares, right? I personally wouldn't care if you do that, right? The issue would be, like I said, just reselling it, and that's where people are scared. Yeah, you can totally just do it yourself, right? Anybody can make a multiplayer and say, "Oh, I got this inspiration from Fortnite," right? And then you can say, "Yeah, sure, I got some of the codes from Fortnite," that sort of thing. Yeah, who cares if you don't become a hit? You can just say, "Yeah, guys, you guys want to play my game that I made?" It's like, "Sure, let's see," right? And you use the Unreal Engine, and it looks technically like Fortnite. But as long as you don't put it out there for commercial use, I don't see the reason why. And I think that's where the biggest fear comes in. Just kind of like putting those sort of like fear into the game industry, especially now that they're struggling so much, right? I don't see too many multiplayer games doing too well. Some are doing well, but some are not doing too well at all. So I can see that being a big issue. But I understand. I know that it's a big kind of a scary part for AAA industries, giving out their project that they worked so hard and they made so much money. But if it's not doing anything, you might as well just keep it online, or you might as well just have somebody else do it for you. And then that will solve the problem, right? Yeah, no IP infringements should ever be allowed to be monetized. Exactly, I agree. But the laws should be used such that beyond the reasonable period, post-sunset games should be deemed such as legally permitted to anyone to hook up their own backend and provide their public access to it. I agree. Public access depends. I think private access. I think public access, sort of. It's kind of like an iffy thing. Like, you wouldn't want people to join in and they start giving you money to join in your server, that sort of thing. I would probably say just maybe private access. Just kind of keep it low-key, just between you and friends. Because the more people learn about it, then, you know, say Nintendo or whoever finds out about it, it's like, hey, you can't have this, take this down, that sort of thing. But if you have it in your own private server, as long as nobody knows, I don't care. Alright, if I make a multiplayer game, personally, I wouldn't care. Like, if you and your friends are playing it, I would be okay with that. Public but no monetization should be legally permitted. The problem with that, here's the problem with that. Public means people can still donate. So say you do open it publicly and you get a bunch of like 100 people join in, and then they give you money. It's like, hey, you can join the private Discord server, and then you start accepting donations. Beyond reasonable period post sunset, yeah, I think it's fine. Post sunset, you can definitely do that. Once it's already sunset, then forget it. You can do whatever. No donations, I agree. But I think that's where the fear comes in, where people are gonna think, oh yeah, these people are just gonna take donations. They're gonna see your idea, that sort of thing. It's harder to find out, but I think if it were me, and I were, you know, allowing people to do that, I would allow them to put only in their own private server, right? Nothing public, nothing. Anybody can log in, but obviously you have to have like a password. Nothing beyond a certain limit, right? If they receive donations, they be breached, and the IP owner should have the right to. Yeah, all right. Yeah, if there's any donations, any monetizations, then that could be an issue. I can see that being an issue, and I think that's where the issue comes in. Money, right? It's not so much about if people use it or not, it's the money part that they're scared about. I don't think, like, say a game, it's been sunset, and it's been, maybe it's like 10-year-old game, right? The technology is not going to be the same. Obviously, they should be able to, you know, use it and do whatever they want with it. It should not be part of a, you know, an IP issue, though. Obviously, if they do, they can open up a legal issue. And nobody wants to be a part of an IP issue. Just ask Palworld, right? Palworld have to settle with all kinds of things, so I don't think they want to deal with anything like that. Right? Am I right or am I right? What do you guys think? That's my input. That's my input on, you know, make his games free. The whole lawsuit. Yeah, I think you should sign it. I think games should be definitely be able to be available once post sunset, to be able to be useful, right? To do whatever you want with them, right? If it's a 10-year-old game, no one's, you know, you're gonna play with your friends, fine. Obviously, don't monetize it. No donations. No opening your private server or Discord, right? To accept monies. And if that's the case, then I don't see an issue. Right? By then, maybe you'll have a better version of the game. That's what I say. And if you don't make it, then, whoa, you didn't make it, man. Then, unfortunately for you, you have to, you know, shut off the game, and then, you know, eventually someone's gonna get access to it. Yeah. Right. That's my input on it. Let me see. Hopefully you guys agree with me. I think most of you guys would agree with me. I don't see an issue with it. As long as no money is given, no IP issues broken, then I'll personally be fine with it. Yep. But I would like to know you guys' input. What will you do in that situation if you make a cool, say you make a cool multiplayer game, right? And you already had your game for like maybe 6 years and nobody's buying it anymore. would you just say, you know what, I'm gonna pull the plug, I'm gonna sunset my game, and then anybody can just go ahead and use it? What would you do in that situation? Would you continue hosting it and just try to see if you can get lucky and try to refurbish the game, or would you just say, you know what, that's it, we're not gonna do it with anymore? In my situation, I would probably say, you know what, you guys can download it, do whatever you want with it, right? Don't sell it, don't try to do anything with it, right? That's the only caveat I would put in.